Most of Western.
Well, Newbury Street is full of trends and fashion and beautiful people. It's been that way for years. But on the corner of Newbury and Arlington sits an institution. No, not the Ritz. That's gone. It's Peter Wong. He's been there for a couple of decades. Maybe you've walked by him hundreds of times and, like me, wondered who he was. Well, after tonight's Real People, Real Stories, you'll see for yourself that Peter is the real beautiful person on Newbury Street. You wrote me a letter. How come you wrote me a letter? Because?
The answer does take a while, but it will be pretty clear by the end of this story. Peter Wong is a man with so much to say.
I think I've given you more money over the years. My college kids' education is in here. Oh, I'm not kidding. Oh, you think that's funny? I'm glad you think that's funny.
Peter's been selling water and other drinks in the Newbury Street area for the past 20 years. He has his vendor's license.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
He works hard, and he doesn't want charity. He's just a businessman.
Peter, I have to ask you how old you are.
52. 1930.
You have to tell me what you use on your skin, because I need that lotion.
Amazing, isn't it?
You look incredible. Are you really 52?
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is Warren, your friend Warren. Hi, Warren.
Hi.
Warren is Warren Dolan. He's a professor at Stonehill College. Back in 1974, he was an occupational therapy grad student at Boston University. I'll let him take the story from here.
They were touring me through the hospital the first day I was there. I had 1 month. It was my last clinical affiliation. We walked on the water, and there was Peter in his wheelchair. He was 13 years old. And I said, what about him? She said, oh, he's profoundly retarded. He'll never leave the nursery. They squashed the cerebellum when he was born with a high forceps delivery, and he'll probably choke to death because he can't swallow.
Peter has spastic cerebral palsy. He couldn't feed himself, can't speak, but he could communicate just fine. Now, Warren found that out that day when Peter made it very clear he was attracted to the nurse. Warren put him on his caseload. They tested Peter's IQ. It's between 138 and 40. That is superior intelligence. Peter is exceptionally gifted.
Physically, Peter is one of the most disabled people I've ever known and worked with. Physically, he's quite disabled. In his spirit and mentally, Peter is the least disabled person of everybody I know.
People see you here and you're selling your water. What do you want them to know? What are you saying inside that maybe you can't articulate for them? What do you want them to know? What's the one thing you would say to them?
He wants people to know that he's a capable human being. He's got a job, he's got a home, he's got for 17 years he had a cat that he took beautiful care of.
What was your cat's name? Fluffy?
Fluffy, you
Yes, I got it.
I asked Peter about the marathon bombings. I wondered where he was since he's always around in that area, and he lives around the corner. When Peter said that, my photographer, Jen, understood exactly what he said. Listen.
And I remember you coming, and another woman came and helped and put the flowers down for you.
You just told us that you went down and you put flowers down at the site because of what happened that day, and that meant something to you. And Jen just told us that she was there at her job, and she saw you do that. Jen, I can't believe it. That's beautiful that you did that. That's so touching. I felt sad.
Back to Peter's letter and why he contacted me. He saw my Real People, Real Stories that I did with the Hoyts, and he knew and admired their family, and hoped that maybe, if someone saw his story, they would know Peter's story.
You're pretty amazing, too. I mean, hey, Peter, I mean it. You appreciate it. I appreciate meeting you. Obviously, you can find Peter in the Newbury Street area, especially when it's hot out. You can also find him at Stonehill College. He helps Warren teach a class called Disability with a Question Mark. They've been doing it for years. But the truth is, if you just took one moment to meet Peter, he would teach you something that you can't get in a classroom. Take my word for it. Mike?
Great story, Marie.